We are delighted to welcome back Prajesh Patel, CEO of Creative Lending Solutions, and Bhavesh Patel, former chairman of AHOA and chairman of the New Jersey Restaurant and Hospitality Association. We've been talking with these gentlemen about SBA loans and what the lending situation is, and I would like to ask you, Prajesh, a question about what does a lender look for in underwriting an SBA loan?
So there are a few things, Fred, that the lender looks for. From the borrower standpoint, obviously credit is one factor. They're looking for current assets that the borrower may own. They're looking for the history of repayment as well. Some of the previous loans that they may have taken out and the repayments on those. No foreclosures and past dues and whatnot. And then from a business standpoint, they look at 3 years of historical financial data, how the business has performed. Is it a upward trend in revenues, or is it a downward trend, or is it fairly stable and whatnot? And then even at the expense level, right? How the expenses have been. And the cash flow, obviously, which is the main important factor in their decision making for a lender.
Well, I think the biggest thing that a borrower has to be prepared for is getting your documents in line, right? You got to make sure your personal financial statement's up to date, current, within 90 days. You got to make sure you have 3 years of tax returns. You got to make sure you have your pro forma ready to go and accurate as much as possible. There's a lot of documents that you have to get ready in order to apply for an SBA loan. You just got to make sure you get that whole checklist and you're well prepared, and make sure you have the answers for the underwriter or the bank that is going to be looking to lend you money. So you got to have all your ducks in line. One of the biggest things is also when you're injecting your funds, your equity, you got to show where that money came from, right? Has it been in your account for at least 4 to 6 months? Because if it hasn't, then they're going to ask, where's this money coming from, whatever it may be. So a lot of different requirements on SBA, and you as a borrower have to be prepared. Make sure you have all your paperwork in line, make sure all your documentation is correct as possible.
Sure. And then I keep seeing with hotel loans the STAR report, Smith Travel Research Report, STAR report. Why is that so important?
Well, they want to look at the market, right, and see what the other hotels are doing compared to the one that you're looking at acquiring. So they're going to look and say, hey, look at some of the area hotels, they're performing pretty well. Why is this one underperforming, or why is this performing a little bit better, or whatever? So they want to see the market trend in that area and make sure that it's on an upward swing, or it's a well averaged property and not in a market that's deteriorating. So STAR report is very, very important to many of these lenders.
And is there a report to know that, let's say I'm buying this particular hotel, that there's not 3 other hotels being constructed at the same time?
There's reports that you can get out there as well, and make sure you do that homework. That's very important, and it's a great synopsis that you brought up, Fred, that you want to make sure that you're buying a property that's in the right scale or right brand, whether it's limited service, extended stay, and you know that there's not more popping up, because if it is, the lender's going to find out as well, and then you're going to look at it and say, well, I think I'm overpaying for these, because in a year or two, my revenue might come down.
Sure. And Prajesh, how long does it take for an SBA loan to be approved?
So typically, just to be on the safe side, we say 60 days. But if we're able to get all the information in a timely manner, from the borrowers, 45 days is a possibility, but typically 60 days.
And then I understand there are certain banks that have preferred lender status.
Yes.
Can you talk about that?
So the PLP, preferred lender program, so that allows the lender to do in-house approval of the SBA loan and issue an approval PLP number, and so that shortens the approval process and they're able to close faster in-house.
So if you use a preferred lending bank,
yes,
From what I understand, they underwrite at the bank using
Yeah.
certainly criteria from the SBA, but they don't need to get approval from the SBA.
Yeah, they don't have to send it out to the SBA office for the actual approval, typically, which is in the California, the west side of the country.
And what are the interest rates for an SBA loan?
So typically, Fred, the interest rates are tied to prime for the 7A program, and they go anywhere from prime plus 1.25 to max of prime plus 2.75. And the Wall Street Journal prime rate currently is at 3.25. So anywhere from 4.25 to 5.75 or 6%.
Great. Well, thank you. We'll need to take a short break, and when we return, we'll have more discussions on small business lending. We'll be right back.